Once again, it's on. Gotta cover up the drink like they do on TV because you don't want to give people unpaid sponsorships in this mob. Refreshing. None like a lime Gatorade. You did. What's your favorite Gatorade flavor? How much sodium do you like to drink? 270 milligrams of sodium. I can taste every milligram. What's up, brother? The enlightened child of God. I wonder, is that my brother? Like my real brother. I wonder, is that really him? You know, he likes to change his handle. So we're going to talk about Darrell Brooks in this month. You know what I'm saying? So hear he, come one, come all. Welcome to another episode of that deep, where we connect them dots. And I don't really expect too many people to jump into the live because it's noon here on the West Coast, Best Coast, the left coast. So people probably at work or somewhere catting off doing something they ain't got no business doing. And for all my East Coast compadres and comrades, it's 3 o'clock your time, you know what I'm saying? But if you are here, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate you because you could be a million other places right now, but you right here rocking and it's no flocking. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Shit. You already know what we on. What you expect we on. It's a no flex zone. You dig? So let's just jump right into it, man. If you in the building, man, hit the thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? That's going to help the algorithm promote the video, and it's going to help bring more attention to the cause. So I appreciate everybody that's here. You dig? All right. Let's get into it. Yo. So, look. Darrell Brooks, man, I don't know if you've been following the trial. The verdict is in. Of course, they found the man guilty. And let me put this disclaimer out here right now. The views that are expressed here are not to condone any violent acts, and prayers go out to the families of the victims. Okay, so I am not in any way justifying any man's actions, not Darrell Brooks or any man in fact. So, but I am going to bring up some points that we must be mindful of. Okay, all right. So the reason why we're going to get into law in this episode of this live is because to understand law is very important. You know what I'm saying? I let the clock rock for 3 minutes before I'm getting in. So please bear with me. All right. So universal law is the law that precedes anything that's physical, right? So we're going to go over the 7 hermetic principles of universal law. That's mentalism, that's correspondence, that's vibration, that's polarity, that's rhythm, gender, and cause and effect. Sorry, cause and effect, right? But that's the laws that precede the physical realm. But we'll go back to that in a minute. But it's important to understand that law first. Okay? We'll get into that at the end of the video. And then all the law that precedes after that is common law, meaning God's law, meaning common sense, meaning don't hurt people, don't steal. Done. Do unto others as you would do as you want done unto you. That's it. Don't damage property. That's law. Everything else that we hear, that we see, that we're binded by this construct of this matrix are nothing but codes, ordinances, statutes. They're not law. Okay? Now, I'm going to show a lot of people a very easy way to understand how to conduct yourself in front of those who we think are administering law. They are not. They are administering civil statutes, ordinances, and codes. And civil means money. Anything that's a civil suit is money. And most of this, if not all of what we think we know about court, is about money. It's good. It's important to understand that. And the reason why I bring that up is because I caught pieces of the trial. I really didn't hear anything that the prosecution said, because the main things that they were showing as far as clips is what Darrell, Mr. Brooks, him defending himself. And the reason why this trial was even put in the public forefront is because he was doing a good job of defending himself, but a bad job of articulating what he was trying to say. So he understood certain things about how to interpret the law, but he didn't understand how to proceed. He didn't understand how to handle himself in court. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because you may find yourself, God forbid, in a similar situation to where you're going to have to speak for yourself. So I'm going to show you how to understand court procedure in a very layman's way. All right. Okay. And again, the reason why this case, the Darrell Brooks case, was on the forefront, not because of the high profile of the case. It was because he was going in under the guise of what you want to quote or unquote a sovereign citizen, which really does not exist. It's an idea more of anything, but it is not something that is tangible. And if you're going anywhere under the guise with that label on you, you're putting a target on your back. Because a more proper way to go about that, and this is what I mean by Mr. Brooks didn't really understand how to proceed with procedure, is to never use these terms and never allow those terms to be put on the record. Okay? Never. When it comes down to nationality of what we call Moors, that's a different story. That's a different subject. Same rules though, but you don't have to be a Moor to apply proper court procedure in your proper status. Okay? And what I mean by status is your proper citizenship or lack thereof of being a non-citizen. Get those thumbs up. If I don't get 3 more thumbs up, I'm gonna shut the video off. Hella threats. hella threatening people. I just want to see if that shit work. Thumbs up, you know what I'm saying? I would appreciate it. I just wanted to see if the threat worked. Motherfuckers be, I'm gonna cut the video off. Motherfuckers be doing that shit. Threatening people and shit. So, anyhow. So, him being labeled a sovereign citizen and him definitely going to lose this case was for them to for them to make the whole process of sovereign or people who are out of the jurisdiction look bad, like to make it look like it's not real, or these things don't they don't exist. You know what I'm saying? So because he was going to lose this case. So this is more to show you, like, don't try this sovereign citizen shit. It's not going to work. You're going to go to jail. That was the whole case, or the whole reason why he was putting this case on the forefront. Not because it was such a big case, because if that's the case, we should see every case on TV. You feel me? Or every case being broadcasted. Now, we 10 minutes in. Now I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes. You ready for this? And they not just regular potatoes. They red potatoes. We love red potatoes here. Sorry. I do shit like that from time to time. It's just a form of Tourette's. Don't worry. So, how court works, for the most part, this is a general breakdown, is that the judge is a referee, like a referee in a game. The referees in the game don't necessarily control, well, they do control the game, but they're not the owner of the game. They're just there to make calls. That's the same thing of what a judge is. In fact, in a lot of sports, they call referees judges. No coincidence, right? Okay. So you have two sides, and two sides are at opposition of each other. And the judge sits in the middle to referee, to make sure everything is in alignment with being a fact. So each side is presenting a fact, so to speak. And the judge is there to make sure that nothing but the facts are put on the record. The reason why this is called a record is because whatever's getting put on the record that's being said is pretty much writing the story or the script. So when someone brings up a quote unquote fact, the opposition is supposed to say, either they're supposed to let the fact stand or object. When you object something, that means you don't agree and you want that to be removed from the story, which is called the record. The reason why the record is important is because when it's all said and done, that's what it's going to be said to look at as a whole of the fact. So there's something that's presented, someone objects, the referee or quote unquote judge is to say either sustained or overruled. If it's sustained, that means whatever's said is to stay on the record. If it's overruled, that means whatever that person said should be taken off the record and not considered as part of the story. That's all they're there for. So when you got Mr. Brooks there talking crazy to the judge and people are like, he's talking so disrespectful. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he was going about it the wrong way, but he was not giving this judge or referee this utmost power to bow down to him or her, right? He knew what to do, but didn't know how to go about it. What you're supposed to do in court is ask questions and have the opposition state facts, and then either object or not. That's how it works. This is what cross-examination is. You see what I'm saying? See, young Link Jr. says he was being pretty belligerent. I'm gonna get to that. He just was not following procedure, because you should conduct yourself upstanding. Okay? He was not using the right words. So his energy was bad, if that's what you want to call belligerent. But aside from the energy, he was not saying the right words. And I'm going to drive this point home. when you're in court, the things that we think are language, no. This is how people that are in court know who's who, because there's certain things that you say that speaks a different language, even though you're speaking English inside of court. When I was watching the young man, I don't even know if he's young. When I was watching Mr. Brooks, I peeped that he knew, he was studied. He was saying things like, I don't understand. And it was more so that he just didn't understand. He was a pretty smart dude. When you say that you don't understand, you're pretty much telling the court that you're not under their rule or jurisdiction. That's what I'm saying. These words speak different languages. So when we're listening to this as the average person that doesn't understand legalese, that's what we call, like I'm part of this shit. That's what we call, like I'm really part. That's what they call the language of law or court or quote unquote court talk. You know what I'm saying? So there's things like that. And the judge knew exactly what he was doing, but the judge can't give it up. The lawyers may had even known, or the prosecution may had even known what he was doing, but they can't give it up like that. You know what I'm saying? Young League Jr. says, do you think he was studying law books? Oh shit. The comments went away. Law books in the library and gave him the confidence to represent himself. I highly think that Mr. Brooks already knew a lot of this shit before going in, because the level of which where he was at, because if you know, you know. When you hear him, you're like, oh, he knows a little. He knows enough. You know, like he used what was it, Navarres? He used some words that I even had to look. I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Navarres, he used a lot of other words, and I was just like, okay, dude on his shit. Of course, he spent some time in the law library for sure, or some type of library for sure, because he was well equipped. He just didn't understand procedure, and what all procedure is what lawyers go to school, or people go to school for. Lawyers go to school to learn how to do what I'm telling you right now. That's it. The law is too vast to go to school and learn it all. You can't do that. That don't make no sense. So what lawyers do, they go to school and they learn how to handle themselves or how to bring up case law. That's all it is. Because once you understand that you can go into the LexisNexis and all these other resources to pull up case law of things that have already been ruled on, that's all you need. Find the case law, because most things have already been ruled on. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's all lawyers are doing. Finding case law and learning how to defend against case law. That's it. That's all they're doing. Now watch this. Man, get them thumbs up. Stop playing games with me. Stop playing games with me. Playing games. So, this is all going to make sense when I'm done. Don't worry. Don't worry. I ain't going to be on here long. I like to get on here from time to time and do this and run my motherfucking mouth, man. I should get on the road and get to getting where I need to be getting to. You dig? Be fucked up out here, nigga. You feel me? Ugh. So. Anyhow. So. And another thing about law is that it's almost illegal for the legal system to even exist at that point of a judge, a prosecution, and a defense. Why? Because they all have taken an oath and belong to the Bar Association. So there's a conflict of interest. You have the quote unquote judge or commissioner or magistrate, referee, the prosecution, that speaks on behalf of an entity that may or may not exist, called the state. or what have you, because that's not a real person, and you have the right under the Sixth Amendment, and Mr. Brooks brought all that up as well under the Sixth Amendment to defend yourself against or to face your accuser, right? And then you have the defense. They're all in cahoots. They're all the same entity. They work for the same corporation. So how can you trust any of it? It's biased. This is why you have the principle to go under self-defense. Self-defense. Feel me? So when he brought up his Sixth Amendment of the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution, I was like, he knows what time it is. The judge knew what time it is because even at some point before the verdict, she even went on record to say, I don't think the jury was there. She said all the facts that Mr. Brooks is bringing up are valid, but they're not presented in the correct way. So by the time you are in custody and you're in trial, you have now entered their jurisdiction. So whether he studied before or studied after, he didn't bring the right things at the right time, because the filing of jurisdiction, that means, the judge also said his 14th Amendment rights. This is key. This is key. We are all slaves because of the 14th Amendment. We are all quote unquote citizens under the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is what automatically puts you into their jurisdiction. Remember, Kanye was telling you slavery is a choice. And he told you about the 14th Amendment. But what did you do? Believe TMZ? You stupid motherfuckers? Not y'all. Not y'all. Not y'all. When somebody try to tell you some shit that you don't know, find out. If you don't believe it, okay. See, anything that gets presented to you that you don't know, you're not going to agree with it because you don't know. It's something outside of your scope of knowledge. Expand. Not y'all. I'm talking to the average person that comes across this video. Not the dots, though. That's why the dots is here. Feel me? All right. So, citizenship. The United Snakes, the U.S. Snakes, read between the lines, right, is a company, a corporation. Its employees are called citizens. Read between the lines. The algorithm is watching. Citizens. Are you a snake's citizen? Check yes. They ask you every time, are you? Are you? Not you are. Are you? Yeah, I am. Yeah. Got him. Got him. We knew they was. Fuck them. Once you are an employee of the company, you have to abide by company policy in the form of ordinances, codes, statutes, not law. Because law is simple. Don't kill, don't hurt, don't rob, don't steal. That's all the law is. Common law. Common sense. All this other shit falls under statutes for civil shit. So even in the criminal trial, it's all about money because there's charges. Charges of what? Charges to what? Charges to accounts. Remember, this is all money. Being in prison is money. having a bond is exactly what it is. It's like stocks and bonds. Bonds is money. Someone that's in control of your surety bonds, when you go to jail, that's money. Why do you think everybody in the court system gets paid so well? Because all of this money. So anything that even seems criminal is based off of fucking money. That's why there's a judge to determine the money, the state, the person. He's valuable. We all have value. We all have accounts that can be tapped into. So if you get brought up on a crime and get pulled into the jurisdiction, now they have access to your accounts, to your value, to siphon. This is how kingdoms stay so rich. Understand you are on a chessboard. There's kings, queens, rooks, bishops. This shit is real. That's why chess is so fucking deep. You think you playing a fucking game, but you in a game. You are the game. Most of us are pawns. Anyhow, digress. So, Mr. Brooks did not know how to articulate what he was trying to deliver. And that ultimately was his downfall. But I'll tell you something of what Mr. Brooks is probably smart about. Because remember that I told you that when you're putting things on the record, you're creating the story of the case that's going to be judged. Every time he brought up an issue and the referee or judge did not rule on his objection, she left it open for appeal. Anytime you bring up any issue that you object to, she has to rule, overruled or sustained. So many times in the case, she did not rule on his objections. So since they're so if he's smart, like how I think he is, or if someone wants to pick up this case to pick it apart for appellate court, there's so many holes. So many holes. So in court, sometimes your defense is not your trial. A lot of times you win outside of the main court date. You win on appeal. You win in other, and this, you can even win before you even go to trial on a discovery. You can call a discovery. And that's where you can weigh out the facts. And you can get shit dismissed in discovery. Hold on. Divine Summary. Any court of competent jurisdiction, there could be a final ruling, no appeal. Competent jurisdiction, though. See? Sovereign Divine brings up a good point. Any court of competent jurisdiction. Article 3 courts are the only courts that rule on constitutional law. Am I right on that? Divine Sovereign, am I right? I might have got that mixed up though. Thank you. Now, Article 1 courts, which he was in, don't have any fucking power to determine constitutional law. None. So what the fuck are these courts? What are they? They're fucking bamboozle courts. Look at that taper. I didn't do too bad. She even said, like, if you know and you listen to what she says, she knows. She was just like, and his, what she say, and his discrepancy of the something of the court was just not brought up or filed in the correct. So they know. So let this be a lesson to you. When you go to court, ask the judge, hey, Do you guys practice the Constitution here? Can you enforce that? Is this a what, is this Article 3 court? If not, what are we doing here? This is where you tell the judge, listen, judge, under the Sixth Amendment, I have the legal right. No, don't use the word legal. I have the right to understand how to defend myself properly. So, in order to defend myself properly, I need to understand what circuit court this is so I can create the proper defense. So, can you tell me what article court this is? We need you to enter a plea. How do you plead? Once you plead, you're in their jurisdiction. That's why the first thing they ask you is, how do you plead? Can you call Willie Mae? Willie Mae, bring your ass up here. Are you Willie Mae? Maybe. Are you Willie Mae? Okay, I'm Willie Mae. How do you plead? Nigga, I don't know. Once you plead, you're in their jurisdiction. So in Mr. Brooks' case, I'm pretty sure he pled not guilty. It was too late. The Divine Sovereign says there's a third option. Yes, that's right. There is a third option. I forgot what it is. Can you remind me of the third option? Look, you like that. Hey, I know y'all loving this law talk. That's what I'm saying. 8 people in here, 8 likes. Let's go. Let's see if we can get 10 likes with 8 people. That'll be different. Let's get it. There is a third option, and it escapes me right now at this time. See, which I'll... Right. I blanked out too. Yeah. So... Mr. Brooks just really, he did what he did. You know what I'm saying? But the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's important to have a balance of what they were showing via the media. They got people thinking like, oh, he killed people, but you don't know what he did. You just know what you heard. Remember, you're always innocent until proven guilty. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. You wouldn't want anybody to um, persecute you before you had a fair trial if you was on trial, right? Or your husband or your kid, right? You would want it to be fair. And, you just got to be fair until he's proven guilty. And he was proven guilty today, you know. But that's not why I'm bringing this up. I'm bringing this up to kind of educate on how the court proceedings work. So you always ask questions and you always handle yourself respectfully. You bring respect. You know what I'm saying? If you want respect, you have to bring respect. You don't belligerently yell and make outbursts in the public. You don't do things like that in public. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with people that shouldn't be in the public because they operate by private. You know what I'm saying? They operate with private understanding, but they moonlight to be public officials. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand how to go about shit, But to tie all of this together, because this shit has ran way longer than I normally do. Y'all know I don't do no long ass lives and shit. Nigga, we doing a 2-hour live, nigga, about nothing. Nah, I don't do 2-hour lives and shit. I might do it one day. Just sit here and just look at y'all motherfuckers like this. And just do that shit for like 15 minutes. No, but the reason why I even started off this video talking about the spiritual law first is because even if you are attacking or defending yourself in a known or unknown jurisdiction, and all of these rules and regulations and things of that nature, nothing is more powerful than spiritual law. Your divine connection to the Most High will trump any procedure anytime. Your faith, if you really want to use that word, in your higher self or of in God will trump any statute, ordinance, or code anytime. And that's the real fight to have inside of you, to have come from your will, is to have that understanding of spiritual law. You can call it prayer if you want. I have witnessed somebody will themselves out of prison. My uncle did it. There's no reason for my uncle to be on the streets. But for whatever reason of his spiritual prowess, he's on the streets. And it wasn't because he fought legally, because he doesn't have that. In fact, not putting his business out there, he's not competent to do that. This was pure spiritual will. Or he just got on their nerve enough. They was like, man, you know what? This motherfucker right here, man. God damn. Either way. The mechanics of the universe work in certain ways. When you understand that, you have the greatest weapons. None of these physical weapons will ever prosper. This is where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Young Link Jr. says, I think it was, hey, New Rebel, do you have any tips on how one can articulate themselves? Are you talking about in court? Because if you talk about in court, yeah, I got a big tip. Ha ha! She said, do you feel me? The main tip or advice that I would give anyone is, I don't know. I guess I'm a bit of a nerd, right? I'm a bit of a nerd. If I find something that I'm interested in, it takes me down a rabbit hole, and I just start consuming all of this information. My memory is horrible, though. I wish my memory was better. I just start consuming this information. I would say, when it comes to law, though, 2 tips. Read, but read. What I mean by read is when you read something, like say you're reading a law or something, like you find a code or something, like that's another thing. When you start finding these codes, like these tax codes, we start finding these uniform commercial codes, all these ordinances or whatever, when you start finding them, read, right? But when you read it, if there's a word that you don't understand, which is hell of them, because also we don't really understand shit. If it's a word that you don't know, look up that word. Even if it takes you hell alone to read 1 page, understand every single word. Meaning, even look up the legal definition. Like say you get a this is an easy one. Say you read person. Like you think you understand what person means, right? Like, oh, the person or persons, blah, 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 will come forth and blah, blah, blah. Look up legal definition of persons. When you do that, it opens it up like, we didn't know that persons mean a business. Oh shit. We thought a person was a person. Nah. This is what I mean by legalese. See what I'm saying? Niggas tripping. So, read and understand every single fucking word legally, like lawful definition of, legal definition of, da 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 da. Right? Second, advice I would give you is practice talking. Practice talking it, because it's one thing to kind of know it, but then when you have to say it to somebody because they don't know what the fuck you talking about, or they're trying to give you a little opposition because they don't really know, practice talking. Practice talking, practice writing it so you're fluent with it. For me, because I have a bad memory, so I have to do that. And the one way that you can practice talking is, the best way to understand something is to teach it or attempt to teach it. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're trying to tell somebody something, just tell somebody. Now, if you learn something, tell them. Talk. That's part of the reason why I do this. I learn something and I'll just start talking. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of do it before I even talk to y'all though. A lot of times I'll go through it like I'll go through it. Even if you got to talk to yourself. I talk to myself a lot. And even as I'm talking to myself, like, oh, that don't make no sense. I'll go and check myself. Check yourself, Q. Them motherfuckers try to take you out whenever they feel like it. I never thought I'd hear the day where you talk like a fucking punk. Sorry, I just had a juice flashback. Thought I was Tupac. I be having flashbacks. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments. LT says, I like how he was a spark for others who aren't informed to become curious of the things he was speaking on. Who are you talking about? Kanye or Mr. Brooks? You must be talking about Kanye. Because your next statement is, his past disrespecting black women caught up with him. He's getting what he put on himself, though. Okay. New Rebel, you know about the Private Attorney General Act. Private Attorney General. Private Attorney General Act. No, I don't think I know that. Of 1866, no. ALC says he's talking about Brooks. I don't know. Brooks was disrespecting black women. Yeah, so Young Link Jr. said that's why I think his strategy was to get the jurors and the judge frustrated for a mistrial so he could file an appeal. Yeah, something to that extent. That's what I was saying about how the judge didn't rule on all of his objections. You can't do that. You also, as a judge, cannot practice law from the bench, which it seems like she was doing a whole lot of. That's what I'm saying. I consider myself a puny guy as far as understanding law. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you got cats out here who get down. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Shit, Yusuf L is one of them. Yusuf L. The Bad Wolf, my guy. James Levitt. I don't know if y'all know about James Levitt. He dope. Copper Moonshine. There's a few cat. There's a lot of cats out here, man. But yeah. So I'm just saying, like, if I know this, then any anybody who want to make a name for themselves that isn't an attorney, um, can pick up that case and have something to work with. But who's gonna do that? You know what I'm saying? In today's society, who wants to be looked at as the guy who got off, the person who murdered or killed 11 people or 6 people and injured 76 people by driving through a crowd? Who wants to get that guy off? Pause. Pause. All right. So is that it? Did we do it? Did we finish it up? Uh-oh. The enlightened child of God. He says, "Hey, do you feel something major will take place soon? Something? Funny you asked that, enlightened child of God." God. I do. I do. I do. Something may there's a I don't know how to describe what I feel, because if I try to, it's going to sound like gibberish. But I'll try right now. I feel that there's a giant hole. That's the only way I can describe it. It's dark and it's coming. And when I say hole, it doesn't necessarily mean hole. It just means something that something big that's going to consume or change a lot of things. Like something major that's going to things won't be the same afterwards. If we think COVID, ooh, I didn't mean to say that. Fuck! If we think the pandemic was something that changed things, whatever's coming is 50 times greater than that. And it's coming soon. Last time I had this feeling that I didn't understand, come to find out Nipsey passed. I knew that there was going to be a rapper that was going to affect millions. I couldn't imagine that it was Nipsey Hussle, though. I had no idea. But this, I had that feeling then. I have this feeling now, but there's no specifics. It's just that there's a huge change, huge, like huge, almost Christ-like, almost Christ-like. Not quite, almost though. When I say Christ-like, the reason why I use the word Christ is not saying Jesus. No, I'm saying Christ-like, when they say that Christ is returning, or the way that I feel or interpret Christ is returning is that it will it's not a person, it's a event that is what the next Christ returning would be. And that event will turn on the lights of everything at once. And what I mean by the lights is we all have internal light. Some of our lights are on, Some of them are half on. Some of them ain't on. But when I say the light in everything, that means the animals, the plants, the people, everything will understand that this is here. Plants will, animals will, people will. The sea animal, everything will know, oh, that is what the next Christ will be. And it's not going to be a person. It's going to be something, though. Yeah. But I digress. Whatever's going to come now is not going to be that. It might. It might. But I don't think so. It's going to be pretty big, but not that big. It's not going to have a goddamn dolphin swim up like, oh shit, this nigga is going down. No, that's not what's going to happen. But something is going to change a lot of shit. All right, y'all. Y'all done hook me on. 51 minutes. Y'all keep doing this shit. These lives keep getting a little longer every time. Y'all trying to get me out here doing a brother panic, huh? Nigga out here talking for 6 hours on a live. Nigga, what? I'm sorry. I love y'all. I'm not gonna be sitting here. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna sit here for 6 hours, blood. I'm not gonna do it, but that's crazy. That's crazy. But all right, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all from the bottom of the ticker, man. Shit. Even if you lost all your money, lost your house, you know, and didn't have 2 cents to rub together, man. Y'all still my people, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to say y'all still my nigga, but I had to be PC in this motherfucker. All right, y'all. I'm gone, man. Y'all already know the drill, man. I ain't got to keep repeating it. It's good. Love y'all.